Hey everyone, it's NERF Boy Productions here. Today I am here with an unboxing and review of the brand new NERF N-Strike Elite Rhino Fire. Alright, I'm very excited for this blaster. It looks really cool, I gotta say. So, the Rhino Fire, if you haven't heard about it, is kind of like the Elite Vulcan. It's got two barrels though, and it takes two magazines, which you will see all later in this video, but it's very, very cool. So, I also want to let you guys know that this is part of NERF's new Elite XD series, which stands for Extra Distance, I think. And it says it fires up to 90 feet right on the box, so we'll test that and see if that's accurate. Now, it comes with 50 Elite darts and does require 6 D batteries, which are not included, so make sure you have those at home before you go and get out and purchase this. And if you don't have them, you may want to pick some up at the same time. This is a fairly expensive blaster. I don't know what the initial release price is going to be, but it's somewhere around $100. So yeah, it comes with 2 drums and 50 darts, which it says on the side. Now if we take a look at the back of the box, nothing too fancy. You have a picture, it actually kind of looks like the front of the box. You have a picture of a guy holding the blaster, and it says, alternating double barrel action, motorized rapid fire blasting, the removable tripod, 2 25 dart drums, the same ones you get with the Rampage, and then talks about your Elite performance specs. So it says that 38% of the darts fly to 90 feet, actually almost to 100 feet, so like 98 feet, and then 62% fall below 85 feet, but that's still pretty good, so if that's true, then that's very good for NERF. So we have a little description here which I want to read. It says, Rhino Fire. Take control of the game with this double-barrel NERF blaster that delivers the ultimate in power. Overpower the competition with the 2 huge 25 dart drums and motorized rapid-fire blasting, as you fire 50 darts and Elite distance. So, that is the box for the Rhino Fire. The box is cool and everything, but we want to see the blaster. So, let's open this thing up and see what we get with our Rhino Fire. So yeah, one of the flagship blasters NERF is releasing for this Christmas, and I presume what they expect to be one of their big Christmas gifts this year for you kids. So, alright, so basically, it's a really big box, and we're just going to slide it out here. Alright, it's so big. Okay, so now this outer box is empty. Set this aside, and we have Rhino Fire is all in here. Okay, so we've got some stuff here, as you can see. First, we have our darts. So we have 50 of these bad boys here, brand new Elite darts. So we'll set those aside for now. We also have one of our 25 dart drums in here. Cut that out. So there's one of them, and the other one is on this side. There you go. And there is your 2 25 dart drums with your 50 darts. So now we have the main components of the blaster. This is a tripod, kind of like the Vulcan one, which I'll show more detail in a moment. And then you have the Rhino Fire. So it's held in by some cardboard. Nothing too crazy though. Cut out all the tape, and she's free. Alright, so I'm going to fill this thing up with some batteries, and then we will come back and take a look at the features of this brand new blaster. Alright, so installing the batteries on the Rhino Fire is really quite simple. There's this big orange panel on the bottom. Unscrew the one screw, the panel lifts up, and you've got what is exactly like the old Stampede battery trays, and we're going to put in our 6 D batteries. Alright, just like that, moments later, our Rhino Fire is ready to operate. So also in the box, I forgot to mention earlier, we have the instruction manual, which I'm going to be taking a look at because this blaster's fairly intricate and has a lot going on with it. So, alright, so as you can see, the Rhino Fire barely fits in frame, but let's take a look at the features of this bad boy. So we have 2 handles at the back, and even with batteries in it, this thing's actually, well, for me at least, but even still, especially if you had a hand underneath, very, very light, and I imagine it's fairly easy to wield with, you know, just your hands without the tripod. So, alright, so let's take a look at the features. The paint job is the exact same on both sides, which I love. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll paint NERF logo and all that, decals on one side, and then the other side is kind of blank. This whole thing throughout is all painted up, which looks much, much better. The whole thing, just the feel of it, the kind of plastic design they have here looks really cool. So, I guess I better start by counting the tactical rails on this bad boy. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4. So there's actually 2 here, and then 2 here. So those are your 4 tactical rails. There's none on the bottom, but so yeah, you get your 4 on top. So, like I said, 2 handles, and this is actually how you fire it. It's one big panel that you push. You can't fire one barrel or the other. You have to fire them both. And speaking of barrels, you insert the darts on each side. There is a mag well. Just like the Rampage and Raider, they have buttons on the back to eject the magazine, and then you just put them in. And the jam door on this thing is really, really cool. It's this whole entire top panel. Just basically the whole top of the blaster opens up, and you can access your jams on both sides. And I think that's really cool. So there's lots of different ways to hold it. I guess you can hold it like this. So there's a little thing here that you can hold it like this if you want, you know, just underneath. But I like to grab this orange thing. I find that's really comfortable, especially when you're holding it down lower. So that's about it. These barrels, as you can see, that's how they're going to move. So when you fire this, they like do. That's what they're going to do. And that's about it. Now, the last thing to mention is the tripod attachment on the bottom. So it's just like the Vulcan. If you ever had a Vulcan or a Havoc Fire, then you would know this is the exact same thing. So no worries about that. Now what this means is it means that the tripods for those blasters are actually going to be universal with this one. As well as this tripod will be able to go on your older blasters such as Vulcans and Havoc Fires. So, basically, that is your mount. It's very simple. There's 2 little gaps in each side. But if we take a look at the tripod, so I can show you how this thing works. Basically, just like your other tripods NERF came out with, it branches apart. So it's spring, so it wants to spring closed, which means that when it's on the ground, it's got rubber bumpers, and it's going to be nice and stable. And one of the legs is shorter than the others, so you would put these 2 longer ones at the back of the blaster, and then this one at the front. And as far as the little head mount here goes, it pivots in all directions, so up and down, side to side. You can basically get any kind of angle you want on the blaster. It's kind of rough to do, like it's not the smoothest motion, but it can be done. So that's about it, and it also can lock into place down like that so that it stores flat, so that's nice. And then it's kind of like Stormtrooper colors, but it's like the new Elite colors, which are white with blue decals instead of blue with white. That's kind of their XD. And I personally think that blue with white decals looks really, really nice like that. So like the old blasters such as, you know, Rampages, Rough Cuts, like the old ones, Retaliators, those all had blue with white lines. Now it's white with blue lines. Let me know in the comments which one you like better. I personally like this, but, you know, to each his own. So, we've gone over the tripod. Now let's connect this thing and see. So, when you connect it, this is much nicer to me than the previous tripods, because if you fold it backwards, as you can see, it's actually not in the way, and it's flush with the battery pack. And if you have it forwards, well, of course, then it's not in your way. Except, okay, that's kind of annoying. It wants to spin around, so when I want it to stop spinning, it's just going to spin in all directions, so that could get annoying, but that's just one thing to nitpick. So, yeah, so the thing branches out, and then, like that, and then it would sit on a table, and you've got your Rhino Fire. So, Now, I need to mention something. The fact that you have 50 darts with this and two 25 dart magazines is very cool, means a lot of darts. But with the amount of darts you're getting, that's the amount of loading you're getting. I need to now load 50 darts into a fully automatic blaster that's going to unload all these in seconds. So let's have fun with that. Okay, so I've loaded up the clips, and I just realized that some of you may have actually never seen a Rampage Drum, which is what this is as well. But if you haven't seen it, then let's take a look. So it's got the NERF N-Strike Elite logo on the front, which is really cool, and it says 25 max there, kind of on the plastic. You also have it on this side painted, and the back is clear so you can see how many darts you've got fed. So the darts come down and around, and this is a little dial that a lot of people don't know about. You know it's there, but how does it work? Basically, you want to twist it like that, then push in and twist, and that will pull the drum down. As you can see, it spins it. So what that does is it lowers the darts so that if it gets kind of hard to push, that'll de-jam it and actually allow them to feed nicely. So that's something worth noting. Alright, we've loaded up the two drums. Let's just insert them now, like that. And now that they're in, I'll show you how it works. This is your, they won't come out until you push this button back here, where they will then pop out. So that's how that works, and it's the same on both sides. The thing's good to go. Alright, so I realized something that's different between this one and the old Havoc Fire and Vulcan. There's no on switch, you just push to go. So, okay, that's really cool. So, I'm going to fire it at the ceiling so you can see the barrels moving. Oh, maybe it doesn't work vertical. Actually, if you push down the paddle halfway, it'll rev up, and then you push it all the way to fully fire. So, I think I have a jam in one of the barrels, because one of the barrels was shooting and one of them wasn't. Now, firing functions are pretty neat. Oh, what am I doing here? As you can see, I've only got one drum in right now, and the blaster won't actually fire. You need to have two drums in for it to fire. You can't fire this with just one. You have to use two, and that's kind of annoying. So as you can see here, I figured this was appropriate for Halloween and all, and this is the Rhino Fire. So we got this Zombie Pets Zombie Rhino we're going to use and attack this guy with the Rhino Fire. We are outside, and as you can see, 90 feet away, we have our Rhino. So there's your Zombie Pets Rhino, and we're gonna blast this thing. So, as you can see, we got the Rhino Fire here. We're gonna zoom it back in so that you can see the target actually being shot instead of the darts. And, well, let's take some shots. Alright, so they actually didn't make it to 90 feet. None of them. So let's see how far they actually went. Alright, so walking up the driveway, we can see that the target was there, and the furthest dart actually went here. Now they all rolled down a little bit because we're on an angle, but we're like 10 feet away. So they were getting 80 feet, and it claimed that the majority of the darts were getting 86 feet. So, I mean, it's pretty good. And I definitely think there's better. Oh, yeah. So I definitely think there's better Nerf blasters out there as far as distance goes, as far as XD goes. The Nerf Cam does better, the Demolisher does better, just by a little bit though. So, also, angling them, I believe you would be able to get 90 feet, but I was not angling it, so with an angle you're going to get a little bit more. I guess I kind of was angling going up this driveway, but so that's, you know, that's about what you're going to be getting in a Nerf war situation. So that is the ranges for the Rhino Fire. Alright, so what are my thoughts on the new Rhino Fire? There's pros and cons. So let's start with the pros. Basically, it's got two barrels. Now what this means is you can hit more enemies than you ever could with any other Nerf blaster ever. The fact that there's two, and you're on a turret. Say, for example, you are manning this blaster. It's on a coffee table, and the turret's set out, or the tripod's set out, and you're just waiting for enemies. And all of a sudden, 4 guys come around the corner, and they're coming for you. Now, with a normal Nerf blaster, you would have to go bang, 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 bang. You'd have to shoot them 4 times and be accurate every single time before they get to you in order to not get hit. This, you could take 2 shots and hit them all, because it fires 2 at once, 2 barrels, double the power. Basically, take a Rampage with a 25 dart drum, double the amount of darts flying at you, and you've got the Rhino Fire. It's got a really nice big jam door, and that's pretty cool. It's got 4 tactical rails, which are really nice, although I don't think I would ever use tactical rails on a blaster like this, except even something like a Stampede Riot Shield wouldn't even fit on here, so I don't think I would use that. But other than that, you know, it takes 6D batteries, so that's kind of a pain in the butt, but they need that power. In order to power all this. I think the handles are very comfy, and the way you fire is actually pretty cool. Apart from that, I think I like it better without the tripod on here, because personally, I think I would find myself without the tripod more than with it, and the tripod adds a lot of weight and bulk and annoyance. But other than that, things I don't like. I don't like the fact that you can't fire the blaster with just 1 drum in it. You need to have 2. That being said, you could put an empty 6-dart clip in and just fire 1. But if you're in a war situation and you run out of darts, you can't just fill a couple in a magazine, stick it back in, and get those last couple shots in. You have to have 2 in. So that's kind of annoying. It's just because of the safety features, but I really wish Nerf had came up with an engineering way to have like a safety where only one of them needs to be pushed in order for it to engage, rather than both of them. So, but other than that, there's nothing wrong with this blaster. This blaster is really cool. For $100, definitely worth considering. I'm not going to say it's a definite must-go get, because I don't think any blaster is a definite must-go get. But you've seen it here today. You've seen what it offers. If it's something that you think you personally would enjoy and something that you want, I personally would use this, and I see myself using this in the future in a war situation. So, because I see that, I would personally get it, but I want to know what you guys think about this blaster in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button because it really helps, and if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe because I have new videos every Saturday, and that way you can keep up to date with everything I'm doing in the Nerf world. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, this is NerfBoy Productions, signing out.